Joining us now is Dan Perry, an international affairs expert, joining us live from Tel Aviv. Dan, thank you very much for speaking to us here. In terms of flotillas like this, we've seen three significant ones since the war in Gaza broke out. What's the Israeli point of view? How do people react when they know that these flotillas are coming?
There's no denying the situation in Gaza is an absolute catastrophe for the people there, but it derives entirely from the fact that they continue to be ruled by an Iran-backed jihadist terrorist militia that would kill them instantly for protesting or rising up. And no one quite knows what to do about that. There's an international plan to remove them. It's been stalled for 6 months. And the blockade that Israel has imposed by sea and also by land of Gaza, and the land blockade is joined by Egypt, is to prevent weapons from entering the Gaza Strip and being used by Hamas against their own people and against Israel. And that includes seeming non-weapons that are so-called dual-use materials that could be converted into weapons. So Israel has a blockade on Gaza, and these people that occasionally try to get in, from the Israeli point of view, but I think from any realistic point of view, are either well-meaning but extremely naive about who they're aligning themselves with, or just jihadist pro-Hamas propagandists. That some of them wish well upon Palestinians is fine, and when they're dragged to port in Ashdod, whatever aid, legitimate aid they're bringing with them, is then transferred to Gaza, along with the rest of the hundreds upon hundreds of aid convoys and trucks a day that Israel sends into Gaza, almost all of which is commandeered by Hamas. The idea that they've been kidnapped is laughable. They were received in Ashdod and then put on a plane and sent back whence they came. But of course, it's also part of the choreography. In their attempt to cause Israel reputational harm, they pretend they've been kidnapped. They pretend this is somehow an effort to prevent their aid from going in. And there are increasingly voices in Israel that say that they should be allowed in. And maybe some of them might discover who it is they're supporting, and perhaps the gay ones will instantly have to flee the territory and knock upon the gates of Israel.
Okay, Dan, however, what this does still maintain the image of it is Gaza as this like locked off place where anyone foreign cannot enter at all. It's seemingly like there is there is a blockade, of course, that's stopping anyone seeing what's really going on there. In terms of letting people inside Gaza, when do you think that could happen when it comes to international press, these humanitarian organizations? Because there is this image and this stigma around Gaza being a place of mystery. No one really trusts anything coming out of there now.
I agree. Letting in the flotillas carrying whatever they carry, which could be weapons, is something Israel's just not going to do. As for allowing people in through the land crossings, once they've been searched for weapons, I suppose, that's something Israel prevented during the war because they argued, not implausibly, that if they let in journalists, the place is such a death trap that they'll be blamed for whatever happens to them, and the dangers are untenable. That was always a not implausible, but also highly problematic argument, because you could say, look, we're war correspondents, and this is what we do, and we absolve you of any responsibility. But would it really have worked that way? For whatever reason, Israel decided to simply not allow it and not risk any further deaths of journalists. And the Supreme Court in Israel, which is fairly liberal, basically, has backed this up. I have myself called on Israel to let in the journalists. Certainly since the end of the major phase of fighting and the current semi-ceasefire, I think it's a mistake to not allow journalists in. It's a mistake to have such tight control over who goes in. Indeed, the more people go in, the more I think the world will be able to see the reality of Gaza, which is very far from anything resembling a situation where the local government has the interests of the people at heart. The local government is a terrorist group, and it is an absolute catastrophe, not unlike what happened to the people of Mosul or of Raqqa, who were once controlled by ISIS. And back then, the entire Western alliance and the entire Arab world rose up as one to get rid of ISIS. That's pretty much what's happening to the people of Gaza under Hamas. Not quite, because ISIS was foreign to those cities, but same effect. They're being ruled by despotic tyrants who, given half a chance and provided any more weapons that or anything that can turn into rockets, would again provoke a war with Israel, bringing misery upon them. And no one has a really good idea. Anyone on these flotillas, anyone lecturing to Israel about how to do better, probably can fairly be asked what they would do. There should be a thought experiment. What would you do exactly? Knowing that Hamas wants to kill you and dismember your family, what would you do then? And one argument is to allow the people in Gaza simply to leave. I mean, I favor that actually. But of course, if you do that in a situation where you've already devastated their territory and half of it is unlivable, then you're going to be accused of ethnic cleansing de facto, indirectly. There are not a lot of great options here, but I certainly understand why the Israelis don't want to let in the flotillas and instead take the aid and send it into Gaza by land. The kidnapping charge is laughable.
Dan Perry, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a great pleasure to speak to you.